Economic growth without investment in human development is unsustainable and unethical. Good morning, everybody. With this quote from the famous Indian philosopher on highlighting the importance of human development, I'd like to begin the presentation of my research, Quality of Life of Women Garment Workers and its Variations Based on Residential Status, a case of the Birgam Export Processing Zone. First, I'd like to provide a small background to this topic. Sri Lanka is one of the top apparel producing countries in the world, employing around 15% of the country's workforce. The apparel industry contributes 4 to 5% to Sri Lanka's GDP, accounting for around 40% of the total exports. Out of the total employed in this industry, 78% constitute of women. They are employed mostly for routine work, where nearly 50% of them are sewing machine operators. When we look at the quality of life of women garment workers, they face hard work while receiving low wages. Some also experience sexual harassment within factories and in areas they live while experiencing negative mental health issues. When we look at the variation of the quality of life of workers based on residential status, we can see some unfavorable levels of quality of life. Prevalence of anemia is higher in migrant workers than non-migrants, and migrants are at a higher risk for unprotected premarital sex and depression than non-migrants. Migrants also reside in lodgings like boarding houses that are crowded, unsanitary, and unsafe. But there are favorable quality of life aspects as well. The remittances earned by the workers make a vital contribution to family welfare. And the migrant rural women have become independent earners, and workers in general have increased participation in home decision making and increased social inclusion at the family level. In addition, demographic factors like job tenure, marital status, and education influence the quality of life of garment workers. And the most recent COVID-19 pandemic has restricted workers to travel to their village homes while stranding them in boarding houses. They are also treated with contempt from the immediate society while having to work in very risky and vulnerable situations. With this, I have developed my research questions and objectives. So for 4 general research questions, my objectives are to find the quality of life of women garment workers in EPCs, then to find whether the quality of life of women garment workers vary with their residential status, then to explore demographic factors that affect the quality of life of women garment workers in EPCs, and lastly to explore situational factors including COVID-19 that affect the quality of life of women garment workers in EPCs. The residential status has been conceptualized as falling into 3 types as boardings, hostels, and own houses. The quality of life as defined by the World Health Organization is the individual's perceptions of their position in life in the context of their value systems and in relation to their goals, expectations, standards, and concerns. There are many models for the quality of life, but in here, the World Health Organization Quality of Life BREF model is used. The BREF model contains 4 main domains of physical, psychological, social relationships, and environment quality of life, which also contains individual facets as represented here. Through that, I have developed my conceptual framework. And through that, the hypothesis development are as follows. The first 5 hypotheses look into how the quality of life and its individual domains of the women garment workers in EPCs vary with their residential status. And the last 2 hypotheses look into how the demographic factors and situational factors including COVID-19 influence the quality of life of women garment workers in EPCs. The research design was a telephone survey which used a mixed methods research approach. The study site was Birgam EPC, where the target population was the women garment workers in Birgam EPC. Multi-stage cluster sampling was done to obtain a sample size of 120. First, a pilot test was conducted, followed by the quantitative and qualitative study. The first part of the questionnaire contained biographical information to make inferences about the residential status and demographic factors of the workers. The second part had scales to measure the quality of life of the workers subjectively as perceived by them through the World Health Organization Quality of Life BREF scale, and also as reflected from their activities and behavior using 4 individual behavioral measures to gain another perspective to their quality of life. In data analysis, the preliminary analysis was done as follows, and the analysis of objectives was done using descriptive analysis, multivariate analysis of repeated measures MANOVA, and MANCOVA, and also thematic analysis. When we look at the sample profile of the workers, it was seen that the majority of the workers were found to be unmarried. But when looking at their education status, the majority of the workers were educated at a tertiary level, but there were some respondents who were illiterate but who were holding degrees as well. When we look at the results of the overall quality of life, the majority of the respondents indicated that their quality of life was neither poor nor good. but a major portion of them indicated that they had favorable levels of quality of life, with none of them reporting very poor levels of quality of life. The repeated measures MANOVA results revealed that there was a marginally significant interaction effect between quality of life dimensions and the types of residences, indicating that there are significant differences of the quality of life dimensions across the types of residences. And pairwise comparisons reveal where this significance lies, and these results could be explained using this diagram. So the physical, psychological, and environment quality of life in all three types of residences significantly differed with their social quality of life. But only among hostel residents, their environment quality of life too significantly differed with their psychological and physical quality of life. When looking at the results of MANOVA and MANCOVA, it was found that the overall physical and psychological quality of life significantly differed with types of residences, thereby accepting the first three hypotheses of this study. But the social and environment quality of life did not significantly differ with the type of residence. When we look at the physical quality of life of workers separately, it was seen that hostel residents had a statistically better physical quality of life than boarding residents. And in addition to the BREF scale that was used, a behavioral measure of physical quality of life was used to obtain the physical quality of life from another perspective. In addition to the facets that appeared in the BREF scale, the behavioral measure included two new facets of gastrointestinal problems and respiratory illnesses. And with regards to these two issues, the own house residents displayed a better physical quality of life than boarding and hostel residents. And these results were further confirmed from qualitative findings, where it was seen that boarding and hostel residents complained of receiving poor nutrition, thereby having poor immunity. But workers in general complained of musculoskeletal disorders and a change in body appearance. When we look at the psychological quality of life of workers, here also the hostel residents displayed a statistically better psychological quality of life than boarding residents. Although here the BREF scale included both positive and negative facets of psychological quality of life, the behavioral measure included only negative facets of psychological quality of life of depression, anxiety, and stress. And with regards to these conditions, the own house residents were seen to be having a marginally better psychological quality of life than boarding and hostel residents. These results were again confirmed from qualitative findings, where it was seen that own house residents had happiness and freedom at work, but boarding and hostel residents were generally unhappy due to being distanced from home. And workers in general complained of work pressure and stress. But the workers had self-confidence, self-esteem, increased resilience, and satisfaction after being employed in these factories. Then looking at their social quality of life, both the BREF scale and the behavioral measure included facets of personal relationships and social support, which showed similar trends from both these two scales. But the BREF scale, in addition, included a facet of sexual activity. And with regards to sexual activity, the own house residents displayed a better social quality of life than boarding and hostel residents. The qualitative findings revealed that own house residents had strong social bonds at the workplace, but boarding and hostel residents had a lack of trust on the urban society. But workers in general had cultivated workplace friendships while having increased social status from the village society, but they lacked such respect from the urban society. When looking at the environment quality of life of workers, the BREF scale displayed that hostel residents had a better environment quality of life. But the behavioral measure, in addition to the facets that appeared in the BREF scale, included a new facet of leisure and recreation. With regards to leisure and recreation, the own house residents displayed a better environment quality of life than boarding and hostel residents. And these results were again confirmed from qualitative findings, where it was seen that own house residents considered work as recreation, but boarding and hostel residents had less opportunity for recreation. But workers in general had improved living standards with increased financial independence, with the opportunity to acquire new information. When we look at the demographic factors that affect the quality of life of workers, it was seen that the monthly income, marital status, presence of children, prevailing illnesses, and the primary level of education of workers significantly affected their quality of life in various aspects. The situational factors that affect the quality of life were analyzed thematically through open-ended questions. It was found that working conditions heavily affect the physical quality of life of workers, as the workers are required to work at a stretch at least 8 hours a day, either being standing or being seated, depending on the type of machine they use at work. COVID-19 has also affected their physical quality of life, as the workers experience heavy exhaustion after being infected with the virus. COVID-19 has also affected their psychological quality of life, as the workers are in constant fear and stress of being infected with the virus at the workplace. It has also affected their social relationships as they are distanced from their family and friends, and also they are treated with fear from the society as potential carriers of the virus. It has also affected their environment quality of life due to the lack of bonuses and incentives provided by garment companies during the pandemic period due to company policies. So in conclusion, the quality of life of women garment workers in Biagama EPC is generally at a satisfactory level as perceived by them. The first three hypotheses were accepted, indicating that there is a significant variation of overall physical and psychological quality of life of women garment workers based on residential status. However, the fourth and fifth hypotheses were rejected, indicating that there was no significant variation of social or environment quality of life of the women garment workers based on residential status. The sixth and seventh hypotheses were accepted, indicating that demographic factors and situational factors, including COVID-19 and working conditions, significantly affect the quality of life of women garment workers. So before winding up the presentation, I would like to present some implications of this study. The majority of women garment workers reporting favorable levels of quality of life may indicate adequate attention towards the workers' lives by garment companies and policymakers, or a social desirability bias. The better perceived quality of life of hostel residents compared to others may imply their satisfaction towards hostel facilities since they are managed by the companies. Adequate attention and support must be given for the welfare of boarding residents to improve their physical and psychological quality of life. And finally, the quality of life of the workers in every aspect should be regularly analyzed post-COVID-19 to identify any adversity caused by the pandemic to the EPC population. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.